Hi there, this video is about the back of the lab, in case you need some help on that. We'll just kind of take it one by one. You can see the answers on my website, or we can talk about it right here. So here I wanted to talk about how density and molarity are really quite similar, but they're entirely different all at the same time. Density kind of talks about how much stuff is packed in per volume. Molarity is kind of the same deal, how much stuff is packed in per volume. But yet, they are pretty different. Like, let's look at density. Density is the grams of... the grams of the entire solution. Like if you take the volumetric flask of the solution and like found the mass of that, you would take the mass of that on top divided by the volume of the entire solution. So it's the solution divided by solution, or like if you took the density of a block of wood, it'd be the mass of the block of wood divided by the volume of the block of wood. It's the block of wood on the top and the bottom. Well, molarity is a little different. Molarity looks at the moles of the solute divided by the volume of the entire solution. So in that way, they're kind of the same, but they're actually kind of different too. This volume of the solution thing is the same, but the moles of just the solute is on top for molarity. So that's just something to take note of. Okay, now let's look at our next question. So in here I created just a generic kind of picture. Like, how did I decide, if you look at this, if I count how many dots there are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, wait a minute, I lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh my goodness, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There are 14 dots on this. Wow, that took a while. So why did I decide 14 dots? I really don't know. I just threw 14 dots in there. And this is my generic picture of what I got for a 200 ml solution of 5 molar sugar. Now, if I wanted to show over here 100 mils of it, that means that's half of the volume, and it's at a 5 molar of sugar. So notice the concentration is still the same. So, if I filled this with 14 dots, and it would only be 100 milliliters, that would be twice the concentrated, because it's in a smaller volume and has the same number of dots. So 14 dots can't be it. If I have half the volume and the same concentration, then I have to have half the number of dots. I'm going to draw in here 7 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Half the volume means half the amount of stuff in order to keep my same concentration. Alright, looking over here. Now my saltwater solution is 0.98 molar. Okay, and that's way different than 5 molar. So as you can see, this is sort of an estimate sort of thing. So I was trying to think, okay, what would I need to make that happen? If 14 dots is equal to 5 molar, well then how many dots would I need to make 0.98 molar? That's kind of what I was figuring. If we're keeping along the same trend, the same pattern. And so when I calculated that out, I got it to equal 2.7 dots. Now I rounded up to make it 3 dots, because I can't really show 0.7 of a dot. So I went 1, 2, 3. So in this stance, what would I be looking for if you were going to draw a picture? I would be looking at, okay, the molarity is 0.98, and that's very different from 5 molar, and so I would want very few dots in this picture. If you started drawing 14 dots or even 7 dots, that's just way too many. How would I, like, if I asked this question on the test, how would I know? It wouldn't have to be as precise as 3 dots, but I'd be looking for, there's got to be fewer dots than our 7 over here. Definitely fewer dots than the 14. Something in the low range if you're getting to 0.98 molar. So this would be an acceptable answer. Now technically I'm going to get a little tricky here. So like I just said, this is an acceptable answer. But you notice in my answer key I didn't show that. That's because this is of a saltwater solution, and this is of a sugar. I always have to be a little bit tricky on these homework kind of ones. Would I be this tricky on the test? No. Like I said, if you did this in the test, you'd be great. But salt is NaCl, and every time you dissolve NaCl, you dissolve it into 1Na and 1 Cl. Every time you take sugar and you dissolve sugar into water, it makes 1 sugar. But every time you make 1 NaCl dissolve, you get 1 Cl and 1 Na. So if you had 3 NaCls dissolve, you'd have 3 Nas and 3 Cls. So that's why you saw in my picture, I had, these are my Cl minuses, 3 Nas and 3 Cls. Just to be a little bit tricky. Alright, I hope this makes sense. If you have any questions, put it on that question sheet for the review for the test, and I'll be sure to answer them. Or at least somebody else will give them a try, and then I'll answer them. Talk to the people around you, too. See if they got any questions.